Hello and welcome to this introduction to Overdrive session. This event will highlight some of the uses for Overdrive and the various ways it enables you to share information with contacts both inside and outside your organization. My name is Sean Power and I'll be taking you through the session today. If you do have any questions then during the event, then please use the chat box on the right hand side of the screen and we'll answer those at the end of this session. We'll reply directly after the event for those we don't get to answer straight away, but hopefully we'll have time to answer them all. The event today will last around 30 minutes and we'll make a recording available afterwards so you can review the information or share it with your colleagues after the event. Overdrive is designed for organizations using Google Workspace. And this is because it is deeply integrated with Workspace and it lets you create a website or a portal automatically from content held in Drive and elsewhere across Workspace and beyond. And it's worth noting, by the way, that we will be making reference to both G Suite and Workspace in this presentation. I think as most of you will be aware, Google has recently rebranded G Suite to Workspace, but they are essentially the same product. So we'll use them interchangeably in this presentation. With Overdrive, you can create great looking web pages and portals without the need for specialist skills. You simply decide what content you wish to share, choose from a wide range of page types and content to suit your content and audience, and then add in your users. And you'll see how this works in the demonstrations as we go through the event today. Your users will have easy online access to the resources and information that they need. And also, any site created by Overdrive is automatically mobile friendly. So your users can access the site on any device that they choose. A key strength of Overdrive is the range of potential uses available, such as intranets, extranets, education portals, event sites, etc. And as you'll see in the demonstrations, a site can be created very quickly to share information with people inside or outside the organization. And the common theme across all the various uses of Overdrive is the need to provide easy access to information and content around a particular subject matter. This may be documentation for a project or data associated with a particular team or a division. Whatever the need, Overdrive can pull together relevant information from various sources into one easy location for your users to find and access. Overdrive is hosted on Google Cloud Platform, and as most of you know, Google uses GCP to host its own well-known services, including Gmail, Drive, YouTube, Search, etc. And GCP provides global scalability and world-class security for Overdrive, and it allows our team to concentrate on adding new and exciting features to the product. We have Overdrive customers worldwide, and here is a selection from different industries and locations, and also different uses of Overdrive, as you can see. And with some customers, such as Tarmac and Western Homes, we have created customized Overdrive solutions to meet their specific requirements. And Overdrive sites can be made public on request. And a good example of this is UNESCO Sardona, which uses Overdrive to share large quantities of scientific research information. Okay, so hopefully that's given you some background information on Overdrive. We now have two demonstrations to bring everything to life. And the first is a recorded video of the site creation process, and then I'll show you a few features of Overdrive on the public demonstration site. So first the video.
With Overdrive, you can set up a great looking site in minutes using content from Google Drive. Today I'm going to create an extranet site for my company, Sanford. We're an office furniture company and need to make our product and marketing information available to our distributors, and all without them having to know anything about Google Drive or having a Google account. Overdrive sites are built from Google Drive folders. And for this site, I'm going to start with this area, which contains the folders I want to share. The Files folder has subfolders and a variety of file types, as you can see here. And in Brochures, there's a Google Doc for each product in the range. Once I've connected Overdrive to Drive, I can use this menu to both create new sites and jump across to existing sites. Okay, so I'm going to sign in using my Google account, but in a minute I'll configure the site to allow my users to sign in using other methods. This interactive tool is great for finding your way around Overdrive for when you come to build your own site, but I'll close it down for now. So as you can see, my site has automatically been created using the content in Google Drive. Notice how all of the folders from Drive are now pages in the menus, and they'll stay in sync if I make changes in here or in Drive. And the contents of the folders has also been brought across too. So now my distributors have friendly, easy access to the same files and folders we use internally. So the Brochures folder needs to look way better. I'm going to use the page builder over here on the pencil icon to turn the folder tile into a blog. Each brochure now shows with a thumbnail image extracted from the doc and the first few sentences of text. So my colleagues can create new brochures in Drive or right here. And they can also edit them in Drive or right here too. Okay, so my site design is looking a bit basic. I'm going to use Template Designer to pick a template that better suits my corporate colors. These advanced settings give me lots more control over the design and layout if I want to go further. And now I'm going to find my company logo. While I'm in Site Settings, I'm going to switch to the Security tab. I can invite users individually, but I can also allow anyone from a specific domain to log in. So I'm going to paste in a list of domains belonging to the stakeholders that I want to access the site. And now I'm going to choose the methods that they can use to sign in. And while I'm here, I'll set up some groups that will allow me to restrict certain pages to the members of those groups. And finally, I'll set the welcome message that they'll see before they sign in. Now let's work on the home page, which is always an important page for any site. I'm going to use the same welcome text for after they've signed in. The Assets folder is where I'm going to keep logos and other files needed for the site, and I don't need it to appear in the menus, so I'll switch it off like this. And now I'm going to use the page builder again to replace the folder tile with some more interesting content. I'm going to start with an image box and pick something inspirational to brighten things up. Okay, now as I move down the other tile categories, from Google Drive, you'll see I can add folders and files from my Drive and shared drives, as well as content from other G Suite apps, including Calendar. And I'm just going to configure this to show my marketing calendar, which contains important dates my distributors need to know about, and contacts, maps, photos, and Google Groups. From social networks, I'm going to add our Twitter tile, Overdrive IO. Overdrive is also integrated with other cloud apps such as Microsoft OneDrive and Smartsheet, and has a variety of other tiles to aid productivity, such as workflow, and collaboration, such as this discussion tile. Okay, so now let's log out and take a fresh look. There are the login methods I chose, including email and password with automatic registration. And here is the homepage that my stakeholders will see when they sign in. And there we have it, a great looking site in around 5 minutes that will form the basis of my new G Suite powered extranet. Get started at overdrive.io today.
Great, so hopefully that's given you an idea as to how we can create sites very quickly and some of the features you can add into your site. What I'm going to do now is to show you what a finished site Overdrive site could look like and some of the features relevant for any type of site. Remember, if you want to ask any questions, then just pop them into the question box and we'll ask them at the end of the session. So this is one of our public demonstration sites, and we'll send you the link to the site after today's session so you can visit it yourself. And it's created to show, again, what a finished site could look like, in this case, for this fictitious furniture manufacturer called Sanford. And for this part of the event, I'll show you a handful of the many features available, which are useful when using Overdrive, just to build on the previous demonstration. And this is the homepage, and it's similar to the one we saw in the video, just a little bit more time spent formatting the page. It highlights some of the features which might be appropriate for your homepage, in addition to those shown in the video earlier. And one of the great features of Overdrive is its ability to display content in different ways. And this page shows an embedded Google Doc. Here we take the contents from a doc and embed them directly onto the page. And in this case, we've added a neat feature to paginate the document to make navigation much easier for users. And we can also provide the ability for our users to edit the document on the page. And we can do this without ever leaving Overdrive, I think, as we saw earlier in the video. Again, just making it easier for users to interact with the data. And it's possible to share other type of information and other type of content with users on your site using Overdrive. On this page, we're sharing contact information, the contact data coming directly from Google Contacts in this case. And here we see a list of contacts and have the opportunity to choose what information is displayed in this list for my users. I can quickly filter this list to show the information that I need, and then I can click through to see more information about that contact if required. And this is a great example of how Overdrive can take existing Workspace data and enhance the presentation of it, as well as making it easier to share with my users. In addition to embedding Google Docs, as we showed earlier, we can also display Google Sheets in an interesting and friendly manner. In this case, we've shown just a simple price list, but it gives you an idea of how the embedded sheet can be used. First of all, I can quickly sort the list based on my choice, and it's displayed on the page. And I can also filter the contents, as we saw earlier with contacts, to find the information that I want. And that's very useful when you've got a large sheet with lots of data. Additionally, clicking on an item displays a pop-up window with additional information not shown in the original view, such as an image or other column in the underlying Google Sheet. Discussions are usually an important element of most team sites, whether that's internal or external teams, and Overdrive caters for these very well. As well as providing the option for including discussions on pages with other content, such as a document or an image, specific discussion pages can be created, such as this sales announcements page. These discussions can either be public, so anyone on the site can see them, or they can be private and restricted to certain users. As well as Google Docs and Google Sheets, we can embed other types of documents in your extranet site too, and in fact any other site. And in this case, we're showing a Google Data Studio report with product availability. I can expand the report to full screen if I wish to, and these reports are also interactive, so I can hover over and see more information. Again, this is just a great way to distribute information to my chosen users. And one of the ways in which Overdrive sets itself apart from the competitors is its ability to manage data beyond simply providing access to that data. In this section here in press releases, we have an approval workflow for press releases. Naturally, this could be anything from purchase acquisition requests, holiday approvals, headcount requests, etc. And Overdrive manages all this with the Drive documents you are familiar with and provides easy, secure access to those who need it. And this is one of the many examples of how Overdrive is elevated from a simple document store to being the go-to place for information and process management for your teams. And finally, one more thing I'll show you is the calendar, as it's often a requirement to share important dates and events with your site users. And this is easily accomplished with Overdrive, as we can incorporate your Google calendars into the site. Here we're showing a calendar which is displaying some events relevant to the audience. I can change the view from the default view, which is month in this case, and I can change it either to week or day as appropriate. And also, to add more flexibility, I can incorporate multiple calendars onto this page and display them together, which will be needed in some circumstances. So that's all I wanted to show you on the demo site for now. As I mentioned, there are plenty of other features which are available and contained on these public sites. So I'd encourage you to visit it after the event to see some of the other features we haven't shown, and you get time to see them at your leisure. And also, as I mentioned, there is a tour on the sites, so we'll take you through some of those features without you having to hunt for them. Okay, so here's a quick summary of the main benefits of using Overdrive. As you saw in the demonstrations, an Overdrive site can be created automatically using Google Drive folders and files. And building a site is fast and efficient compared with traditional methods. And also, no specialist skills are required to create the sites. Many types of content can be transformed automatically into powerful and user-friendly web pages. And pages can be easily updated or maintained by editing the original file, either from the site itself or from Drive. And this sync between Overdrive and the source location enables the site to be automatically updated when content changes at either end. So now just a quick look at the licensing model. Overdrive pricing starts at $1 per user per month. And we have a discount available for education and non-profit organizations. Once a user is licensed, the number of sites that can be created and accessed by that user is unlimited, which means that people can create as many sites for as many different uses as they need under this licensing scheme. We do have further information on the pricing plans, which are on our website, and that's overdrive.io. And again, we'll send you the link to the event, to the site after the event. Okay, so there are some questions which I'll go through. I'll run through some of these. Hopefully we'll have time to answer all of them. If we don't have time, then we'll come back to you directly after the session. First question, can this be used by individuals with only drive.google.com, not G Suite? Absolutely, yeah, you do need a Google account with access to Drive, but that can be a free civilian account. Can even be one of the old free G Suite accounts if you still got one of those. And again, it's any version of G Suite or Workspace. So the new business plans or enterprise plans or basic, and education and non-profit. So it covers across the board. Good question coming in. How different is this from Google Sites? Does it allow more than 10 pages? Yeah, so in some ways it's similar to Google Sites, but it enhances what Google Sites offers. So the ability to make pages very quickly, the ability to add in more functions like workflow, as we showed. And also we're about to launch a mobile forms module, which will be incorporated into the Overdrive licensing scheme. So again, we're not just displaying documents, although we're doing that particularly well. What we are doing is enhancing your use of information. And more than 10 pages? Yeah, absolutely. I think our record at the moment is about 4,500 pages, although that's probably not to be recommended. But yes, you can have as many pages as you wish, depending on the content and how that affects the site speed, etc. Similar question, how does this differ from Google Sites and also from standard websites such as WordPress or Weebly? Yeah, we're using Google Drive as the source and the core of the site. So a folder in Drive becomes a navigation item within Overdrive. So that's where it differs mainly from WordPress or Weebly. We can also, we haven't seen it today, but on the sites that you can create, you can incorporate things like style sheets and JavaScript and other code to make the site look the way that you want it to look. It's really the way in which we're managing documents and content across G Suite that we do better than anybody else. You may say that WordPress is better at building public-facing sites in some ways, but if that core data is mostly based within G Suite or held within G Suite, then we'll be able to enhance that process. Question from John, what does the URL look like? Yeah, interesting question, John. So we've got, when you create a site, whether it's a trial site or a licensed site, you get a randomly selected numerical number, so site.something.overdrive.io. You can change that to be whatever you want it to be. So that could be a subdomain of your main domain, so intranet.yourcompany.com, or in fact, it could be a yourcompany.com as a full domain. So on the pay plans, that's an option that you can just that you can create and use that. Any way to embed an Airtable view? Good question. Yeah, we have customers who do that. We showed you the list of, or you may have seen the list of full integrations that we have, obviously across G Suite, some other Google services like Maps and YouTube, but also some third-party tools like Smartsheet and Microsoft OneDrive and Awesome Tables. Apart from those where we've got full integration, we can frame some applications into the site. So where you publish the Airtable from the source location, and then you can pull that and display that on your Overdrive site. And Airtable is one of those applications that works for. So it's well worth having a look. If you get stuck, Eric, just let us know, and we'll walk you through that. Question from Annette, can permissions be set up for each person signing in? Absolutely. So you can decide what sections and pages each individual can display, can view on the site. And we do that in two ways. One is that we inherit Google Drive permissions. So if the user can see the folder or the document within Google Drive, then they can see it within Overdrive. That's one way. The other way is that we've got a concept called Google Groups, where you can create groups of people and you can share individual sections of the site to those groups. So that's another way that you can segment the information on the site. Yes, there will be a recording available. We'll send that after. Is there a collaboration functionality, or is it view only? Collaboration comes into effect that you can actually edit the documents on the page. Any changes that one user makes, if they've got the sufficient permissions, is reflected for any other visitor on the site. So that's really the collaboration. Further than that, we've got the discussions tile, which we showed briefly in the live demonstration, and also things like workflow and mobile forms capture. All that kind of thing helps with collaboration. Joanna, if there's anything in particular you're thinking about on that side, then just let us know. We'll help you. How will end users know if something has been updated or an important message is posted? So we're about to launch a notifications for new information. So users can effectively subscribe to folders or documents, and if a change is made or new content added, they'll receive a notification. We've also got a push notification module down the right-hand side of the screen, which admins can push notes to users. So that would work. Would we be able to add files that can be downloaded from the site with permissions? Question from Amanda. Absolutely. You decide what documents can be downloaded, and so you can add them to the site. They can be downloaded by the users, etc., providing they've got sufficient permissions. What kind of document does your comments wind up in? John, it stays within some module itself, so it doesn't end up within the document. So we've extracted the comment system, if you like, from Google Docs and put that onto an Overdrive tile, which you can add to any page. So it's a separate process to the normal commenting system that you may be aware of with Google Docs. Will the website accept ODBC connections to databases? Yes, it depends on what you're trying to do, whether you're updating users or you're updating content on the site. That's entirely possible. We can also have raw HTML added to the site, which can update a page. So that's all well achievable, Mark. Does the document approval workflow you mentioned built into Overdrive itself, or do we need access to another source such as workflow? No, it's built into Overdrive. So as part of the Overdrive licensing, you get access to that workflow process where authorized users can raise requests, and then authorized managers can approve, reject, comment on, etc. We've got quite a lot of information on that. In fact, we've done specific webinars on that in the past, which we've got recordings for, Scott. So if you'd like that, just drop us a line and we'll send that to you. Can we create pages with sheets that can have links to download files from Google Drive? Can we create pages with sheets? Yes, I'm going to say yes to that, Amanda. So you would embed a Google Sheet on the page, and that sheet would have links to Google Docs. When you click on the link, I think it would open up the document first. There may be a command that we can include in the link to automatically download rather than opening, but I'm sure we can do something. Again, just let us know what the use case is, Amanda, and we'll find the best solution for you. Can I set up so that unlogged users can view without having to pay for them? Yes, Lou, that's what we call a public site. So a public site, users don't sign in, anybody can access the site. You don't pay for users, they don't need licenses. You can just have it as a public site where you control the data. We can take that to the next stage and have what we call a hybrid site, where the site is public for everybody, but there may be parts of the site which are private. So those users you want to give access to can sign into the site, and they'll have access to those private areas. But either case works well. Backup or have previous versions like Google. We do have that within our database, but it's not exposed at the moment, John. It's on our roadmap to give you that kind of audit trail. So if you make a change on the site, that change has been made and cannot be reverted without replacing the new content. Is price standard or traffic? No, pricing is based on users. Regardless of the number of traffic, regardless of how many sites you have, regardless of how much content you have on there, it's just how many people are accessing the site and need to sign in. Referring back to my comment about public sites. Yes, we'll send you a link to the site, and it will be on YouTube, but you can find it later. Kieran, can we develop B2B sites? I'm not quite sure what you mean. If you want to drop us a line with what you're trying to achieve, we'll help you out with that. Integration of current third-party apps into the site. Again, Kieran, yes, we've got a list of third-party apps which are integrated, and that's growing all the time as users need. Is this included in the current subscription? This is a third-party product, so it's not included in G Suite. This is an extra cost. We went through the cost earlier. Again, if you've got any questions on the licensing, come back to us. Can we include slides that have external video in iframes? Cool, Lou. I'm going to say yes to that. Yes, because we can incorporate slides. Yes, we can incorporate external videos. Yes, we can include iframes. I'm not sure about the combination of that. I think we'd have to do some testing. Again, come back to us and we'll do some testing with you. Can you talk a little bit about how this works with Smartsheet? Yeah, Susan, so a couple of things you can do with Smartsheet. First of all, you can embed your Smartsheets and you can select Smartsheets from a list of Smartsheets which you've created. That's about as far as the integration goes. So it's a really good way if you've got lots and lots of Smartsheets. Instead of sharing individual links to groups of users, what you can do is put them all into the Overdrive site, and then that's the place that you go to access all your Smartsheets. Again, have a look at that. Come back to us. You can try it out on the trial to see how that comes from. Invoices coming from vendors via email. Can we dump in the folder? Yep. So any file that you add into Google Drive into a folder will appear on the site if that folder is contained within the Overdrive site. So regardless of what the type of document it is. We have lots of videos files which we share each month, about 40. They are .mov. Can those be viewed directly on site without downloading? Yes, I need to test that to be truthful, Amanda. I can't remember whether we've actually done that or not. I think we can. Again, sorry, come back to us, drop us a line. We can do some testing. You can test it out on your own site, and we'll find the answer to that. But I think the answer is yes. And one final question: will this presentation be shared? Yes, we'll send you an email after the event with a link to the recording, so you can see that. If you want the presentation itself, again, just drop us a line and we can share that with you. Okay, I think we're rapidly running short of time. So what I want to do was look at kind of some ways that you can continue your investigation of Overdrive. You could create a trial site, and I'll flash up a link for you to start a trial. Just click on that button and that'll take you through to start a trial. And that's a great way for you to actually learn what Overdrive can do. As I've kept mentioning, after the session, we'll send you links to our public demonstration sites, including the extranet one we showed earlier, as well as links to our starter trial site. So you can do that if you miss that link on the site. If you have more complex requirements, such as high numbers of users, complex specific requirements or questions that you've been asking today, then we can arrange a consultation either with ourselves or one of our partners. And we'll look at your requirements in detail and advise on the best approach. So again, when you get that email, just bounce that back to us with a question or anything else that you need, and we will help you out from there. So thanks everybody for attending. Thanks for your questions as well. Some great questions there. Hopefully we've answered everything that you have said. If we haven't, if there's anything else that you need, just come back to us and we'll happily help you from there. I'll leave the question box open for the next few minutes and answer any questions in there. If I've missed any, we'll come back after the session and answer the question there. So thanks everybody. Thank you.